So you're changing your water pump on your 2006 Pontiac Solstice. First things first, we're going to go over here. You should drain the radiator first. Usually it's just that white plug that's at the very bottom. You pull it, you essentially just open it up, lefty, loosey, righty, tighty, and drain all of it out, close it back up. Then you're going to take this hose off. Then the second thing I'd recommend is taking off this access plate. It's going to be right here. That's what you're going to be looking for. You're going to do this, replace the gasket. This is essentially just going to go over where this tool is currently. See if I can get it right where this tool is. This goes right on top. You'll see it if you're looking over here. And then after you take that tool off, you're then going to take off these 4 bolts. You're going to take them out. You're going to place this tool inside. Look for a 2006 Pontiac Solstice 2.4 liter GM holding sprocket tool. This is what's going to hold the gear inside, so that way you can take the water pump out. So after you take the access panel out, screw these in, then screw these into the actual plate. Make sure you're doing it right. Then you're going to come over here. It's going to be 2 10 millimeter bolts. One is going to be up here, right on here, and then the other one is going to be right below it. So you can see right here. It's going to be a little bit hard to get to, so you'll also have to remove this heat cover right here. And then the next thing is, of course, the sensor. You will have to take that off in order to take this bolt off right here. It's also a 10 millimeter. And if you're then changing the thermostat, you'll also take these 2 bolts off. While you're here, you might as well do it. You don't have to take off the cowl for this unless you're doing the thermostat. I didn't, just because it's a hassle, because you'll have to take off both of these wipers. I believe it's a 15 millimeter for these nuts that are underneath here, and then you have to yank it out. Too much work for me. But after you do that, this should pop right off. It's going to drain a lot, so make sure you do have a pan right underneath. I do, as you can see right down there. And then this is going to drain out. Then, as this is loose, you're going to pull it off. But before you pull it off, this pipe right here is connected to this plate over here. If you're going to replace the gasket in this one, you'll need to disconnect this. I'm not going to because I'm lazy, but it's going to come with bolts on all sides. One right here, 2 on this side, 2 on that side, another one down here, and then there's going to be a couple in the back. There's going to be 1 and 2 up here. I can get behind here real quick. There you go. There you go. Couple bolts in the back. Then, after you do that, you'll open it up. You'll see the water pump right here as you pull it back. Make sure you pull it back enough to where you have some space to work with it. I just put the new one in. This is what it's going to look like. This is going to go on the outside facing towards the pipe. And then this part is going to be towards the actual block. And then, see here, this is when you'll undo the bolts on the inside portion, which are going to be these small ones right here. Be extremely careful, because if you drop those, like I did just then, into the actual timing chain cover, you'll have to open up the cover to get these out. These are extremely important, as well as it'll also mess up your timing. So you have to take the cover off, you have to redo your timing. Major things you do not want to do. So after you take both of those off, then you'll have a big bolt on this side, one on the bottom over here, then you'll have 1 more on here, 1 more here, and then 1 more on the very bottom. Then we have to come over to the other side of the block. It's going to be 2 bolts. It's going to be 2. So right above this small one right here, it's going to be a bigger one. Need to remove that one. And then right below the tool, you can see that hole down there. Right below it. We'll have to remove that one as well to get this out. And then it'll just pop right off. you may have to pry it. I recommend just using a screwdriver. Not a screwdriver, a flathead. That's essentially it. Just make sure you're replacing your gaskets. It's going to be a gasket right here on this one on the inside, and then there's also going to be a gasket right here on the inside. And then if you take the pipe off, of course, there's going to be another gasket right down here. But that's essentially it. All you got to do is just take it apart, put it back together, put the bolts back on, torque it, and then whenever you are torquing it, make sure you look up the specific specifications, as it is really, really important to do so. Because if one of these screws breaks or bolts breaks, you'll have to tap it, and that's no fun. So that's essentially it. And after everything's back together, put this one back on, you'll fill up the radiator. I'd recommend unbolting it and then just carrying it up or putting a bungee right there, as that'll help get the air out of the system, as these are notorious for doing so. If you do have any questions, just put them in the comments. I'm sure there's something I missed, but I'm more than happy to answer, as I needed to know this, so I'm more than happy to share that information. And yeah,